everybody. I thought I'd come back and talk about the two U.S. eclipses that are coming one this year in August and one in 2024. Anyhow, so the Great American Eclipse, the first American eclipse that's occurring on August 21st of this year, 2017, will appear in the constellation Leo, right next to the King star. And so this eclipse can be seen in all 50 states, and it's the first coast-to-coast U.S. eclipse since June of 1918. So it will be 99 years ago, and it occurred towards the end of World War I. And also, this is the first coast-to-coast U.S. eclipse that will have occurred since Israel became a nation. And so this eclipse on August 21st is exactly 40 days before the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. And the Day of Atonement is to provide prophetic insight into the second coming of Christ, the restoration of Israel, and the final judgment on the world. But interestingly enough, Jonah gave Nineveh, the city of Nineveh, oops, there it goes again. The city of Nineveh, 40 days warning, 40 days warning before God's destruction. However, they repented and were spared. So the question is this a warning of God's judgment on the U.S.? I believe it is. And then there's going to be a second American eclipse on April 8th, 2024, about 7 years after that time period. And this one will occur in a constellation Pisces and can be seen in 49 states minus Alaska. And the eclipse in this case will be right here, almost like severing the two bands that are holding the two fishes in Pisces together. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I believe it has some prophetic meaning. And then this was in an article, just a portion of it, that was in eclipse2017.org. It was entitled Overlap of the Paths of Eclipse 2017 and Eclipse 2024. And it says, after so many years without total eclipses, the mainland U.S. will be getting two in the space of less than 7 years. And although I don't think they realize the significance of that, I think these two one is a prelude to the 7-year tribulation, and one being the very last eclipse at the seventh trumpet, I believe, if you've seen my other videos. And then looking at the paths of the total eclipse, solar eclipse pairs, the one in the fall of August 2017, cuts across the United States from Oregon through South Carolina, and the one in spring of 2024 comes up through Texas and exits out through Maine. But it forms a X across the United States, and I think this has a very significant meaning as to our future, judgment by God. And I decided to overlap this with the U.S. Geological Survey earthquake map. And if you see the 2017 path, comes in over Oregon and passes just a little bit south of the Yellowstone caldera, but it's still within the hot zone of the Yellowstone region, crosses through hot zone of the New Madrid Fault and exits in a earthquake dense zone in South Carolina. Then the one in 2024 comes up through Texas, goes pretty close to the Oklahoma fracking region, and crisscrosses again in the New Madrid Fault and exits out through Maine. I think this paints a pretty clear picture as to God's judgment on the United States. So it's pretty much X marks the spot. And speaking of which, I wanted to see where it actually intersected. So here's a map of the region of the two, the intersecting point of the solar eclipses. So it intersects at Lake Cedar, just west of Makanda, Illinois. So, which is 37.642 degrees north and 89.272 degrees west longitude. So, and then zooming in a little bit on Google Map of pinpointing that coordinate there, it's basically at the tip of, well, one of the little fissures outside of Lake Cedar, and just a little bit east of there is Makanda, Illinois. It almost seems like the lake has the fissure was kind of leading towards that. So I wanted to kind of take a closer look at that and see if there's any significance to that. And so Makanda is actually celebrating, they have quite a few articles on both solar eclipses can be seen from there. They're the center of the solar eclipses of 2017, 2024. But I thought I'd read a little bit on about the village of Makanda. So it's in the early 20th century, it was used the slogan "Star of Egypt," and to this day, it's still known as Little Egypt. And so I kind of think that means something. I think the prophecy against the United States will be the same as the prophecy against Egypt and her fall. And you can read a bit about that. I won't cover it here in the books of Ezekiel, books 29 and 30. So I think those are harbingers, symbolism from Makanda, Illinois, of what the U.S. will be suffering during the tribulation or towards the end of the 7-year tribulation. And also in Zechariah 10:11, it has towards the end that, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart. And a scepter is the symbolism of royal authority. And of course, everybody knows that the Statue of Liberty is holding its scepter. So, and then in Isaiah 31:1, it basically talks about us not, or Egypt not trusting in God, although they were great and mighty, militarily wise, and economically, but they didn't seek the Lord. And so God brought the judgment down on Egypt as he did in the past. And so I believe we, the United States, will suffer the same surmise, unfortunately. And then more symbolism that's maybe from the solar eclipses. Possibly Lake Cedar has the meaning of the Cedars of Lebanon. And you see in Psalms 29:5, the voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks in pieces the cedars of Lebanon. And then in Isaiah 2, verses 12 through 13, you can read that for yourself. But in verse 13, it says, upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, upon all the oaks of Bashan. And so it says they'll be brought low. And so I think that's further symbology that the city of Makanda is in the intersection of the two eclipses during prior and at the end of the tribulation time, are indicating the judgment God will bring on the United States. So I hope this has been meaningful to you, and I hope you have a blessed day, and take care. Bye.